Hey guys, it's Abby and welcome back. It's been about a year since I've been on this channel, and I have quite a few videos to upload on this channel about the New World Order and a few other things, a lot of social commentary. I guess a lot has happened since I've been gone. I didn't even mean to stay away that long. Life just happened. I've done a lot of traveling since then. I think I've been to like 3 or 4 different countries, and I've had some computer problems. I did get a donation from that channel, and I actually bought a computer battery. So all the donations that came through on this particular channel were used for computer equipment. So, and there's not that pesky sound in the background either that you can tell. So I want to welcome you guys back, and I want to welcome myself back to this channel. You'll see the different name. It's no more called Zoe World Order. It's just the LA Occultists. I'm moving back to the States. And though Zoe is a very lucky name, it's a very lucky word, I'm just going to go by Abby. So I'm not going to change any of the older videos, but I'm just going to go by Abby. And I'm going to be in LA, and I'm still in the occultist. So it's all just very regular. How's that? So I also want to thank Glenn Zarmanov. I know that 9/11 has just passed, and I went by your channel, but I didn't leave a message. But I just want to thank Glenn Zarmanov, because the minute my channel came up, he was very, very supportive of it. So I do want to remember him, and you can check out his channel. If you go to my homepage for this channel, he is under the channels that I love list. So check out his videos. He talks a lot about 9/11 and conspiracy and New World Order. So you really want to check out his videos. So getting into this particular video, I have had the pleasure of seeing the effects of globalization take place in a lot of different countries. And though I can't put everything in one video, it's a huge reason why I wanted to come back to this channel and do these videos. And you know, I've been keeping up with what's going on in the U.S., and it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. And I really think that the media has a lot to do with the state of society, the way people think, even more so than ever before. And how it all affects globalization, and just a lot of the different, how much the effect of the tools that they're using, that I think that we didn't even really pay attention to before, how effective they are because of the media's stronghold and just basic poisoning of just the average everyday citizen. So we're living in really different times that a lot of us older people never thought we'd live to see the day of. But I really want to talk a lot about that on this particular channel, as opposed to a lot of the fluffy, hopeful stuff, because I think that in these particular times, people kind of need solutions, and they kind of need hope, and they kind of need a plan, and they really need different perspectives of looking at a situation, as opposed to hearing the same thing. And that's one thing that I think with my channel, you won't hear the same thing. You know, you'll hear a lot of different perspectives. And with this New World Order thing that has already been going into, and people are talking about, oh, it's the Bible. I don't think it's the Bible. It's man. You just underestimated man. You just underestimated the two-legged beast. That's what it is. And, you know, a lot of people talk about, well, you know, oh, it's the Illuminati, it's the elite. There's always going to be an elite in every situation. There's an elite at high school. There's an elite in college. There's always going to be an elite. But if I were the person whom was at the losing end, I would try to figure out, I would get into the mindset of the elite. And that is sort of like the focus of that will be the focus of a lot of my videos. Kind of just deciphering the puzzle that is put together. And remember, this new world order, it's world. It's not a new U.S. or a new European or a new North American or half a globe or Western Hemisphere order. It's world. This is something that is unfolding around the world. And as far as stopping it, humanity is in no position to stop what is coming. Knowing is not enough. You know, I would even go so far as to say prepping is not enough. And I've said that before as far as physical prepping, because they affect everything that you have. You can buy as much food as you want, but if it's poison, and if you're dumbed down, and if you are sluggish from all the meat you're eating, if you have now diabetes, you've contracted diabetes, even though it doesn't even run in your family or your bloodline. If you have all these new dietary illnesses, if you're addicted to meat, which meat is an addiction, it's an addiction now. If you're addicted to a lot of these things, which is purposely being put in your food and things are being put in the air, you don't have a chance. You're already controlled even at that level. So I always say that everything that is physically manifested began on the inner level, on the spiritual level, on the energetic level. That's a fact. We can look at that. We can go through the universal laws. We can do whatever. But the thing that we see in front of us, the physical manifestation, is always the final, the end result. You know, this is something that has to be fought with thought, something that you have to cut things off at the past, or at the path that they used to say. This is a very old expression. You have to outthink this thing to win. You have to get the leg up. You have to kind of get in tune with yourself. You have to become not religious but spiritual, and that's a huge difference. You got to get connected to something. You got to get connected to I almost want to say Earth, but you got to get connected to something bigger than planet Earth, because there's something called a solar system out there. You got to get connected to the universe, and you have to rely on that connection in order to know what's to come. That's how you have prophetic dreams. That's how you have visions. That's how you have, and a lot of us, you know, I think maybe I talked about that a lot in my past videos on this channel. A lot of us have those abilities. A lot of us can foretell things. People are saying, oh, the veil is thinning. No, the veil is thinning for the basic idiots or the basic people who have ignored spirituality their entire life. The veil has always been thin. There's no veil needed for people who are already attuned, who are already born a certain way. It's just that now, when they say the veil is thinning, that means that it's obvious. Things are obvious. But if you are already paying attention, you already know. You already knew what was going on. You know, there's a lot of people who have been saying, you know, for X amount of years, oh, this is a conspiracy. This is what really was going on. They've been hiding the truth. We all know this. Like, this is nothing new. So a veil being thin, or information just coming out, different, this whole liberal and Republican thing is, you know, or conservative thing is still the biggest joke that's running. Thinking that there are really separate parties in the government. There are no separate parties in the government. You know, it's all one big group of people vying for their own aims, vying for their own positions of power. This whole thing is about power. It's not about race. Small minds who are destined to be pawns are fighting over race right about now. That's all you have to do is look about it. Look who's fighting over race. Look who thinks that someone of a different race is stealing a pebble off of their table, and you'll see the first person to go down. These people will not make it. If you're talking about camps, concentration camps, these are the people who will be the first ones to feel them. Why? because this has nothing to do with race. This is all about power and domination of the planet. Of the planet. This has nothing to do with, oh, it's just one race that's going to go in there. No, sweetie. The whole planet. Asia is affected by this. Africa is affected by this. This whole globalization thing. Pay attention. You're seeing countries that were poor for the last hundreds of years now being within the top 5. Now moving up. You go to these countries and now they look just like little parts of America. You think that's a coincidence? And there's another newscaster who is a Republican who made mention of that. And I was shocked that she said it. She said that she traveled to other places. And, she said that, she doesn't like conspiracy theory and she doesn't believe in a lot of things. But she said that she actually had to stop and say, wow, this is too crazy. This is, I don't want to give the rumors and the conspiracy any validity, but this is just too close for comfort. That's because it's real. When you don't live in the United States and you do have a passport, and you're actually in tune to what's going on or conscious, you see that people who have a totally opposite culture of opposite of Western culture look a lot like Westerners, are dressing a lot like Westerners, are doing almost everything a lot like Westerners. You'll see that in integration or interracial dating is pushed, not organically, but it's pushed, this whole blending of one world, of one look. Almost people are just looking alike. And people in the U.S. have an issue with that. And it's interesting. A lot of that people are trying to fight for their racial, physical imprint, so to speak, which has some validity to it. But the funny thing is, when you leave the United States, you'll find people who look like a lot like black women or black, have that black African imprint, more so than the European imprint, So there's a lot of things going through it, there's a lot of things going on. And it's not, a lot of this is not being, you think it's being propagated by the media or, it's rap music, is this and that. No, baby, no. People have a plan, and you're just a pawn, and you're carrying out the plans of these people. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, when there's a huge catastrophe, if there's a 9/11, if there's anything that goes down, the people who, maybe even the firefighters, maybe even the people who clean up the mess, maybe even the soldiers or anything, sometimes some of them are the last to know, or they're just in the middle. They're just pawns who help orchestrate or help push a certain agenda along, but they have no idea what the agenda is. The agenda was thought out and planned by people who will never even be in the vicinity, or people who will never even be around to experience that particular calamity. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes these ideas are even planned 10, 20, 30 years in advance. And I'm not talking about the Bible. I'm talking about, people just sitting down planning situations. This is really a situation of power. People are writing all these books and ideas about race. Race ain't got nothing to do with this. You want to get smart? Read Sun Tzu or something, The Art of War. Or start reading war books. How to mentally prepare for war. This is a mental war. This is an energetic war. This is a quote-unquote spiritual war. It's not a religious war. Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this. Jesus is not going to help you. I'm not trying to offend anyone who believes in anything. But you can go back in those books. But guess who wrote the Bible in those books? Other men. They had to have the idea first in order to write the book. You understand what I'm saying? And we're not going to get into a whole religious thing. But tune into the Creator. If you believe in the Creator, then we all believe alike. I don't believe in gods. I'm an occultist. I don't believe in gods and Zeus. I don't think Aphrodite. I don't think some Scandinavian god or some Greek god is going to come to my defense. I just don't. I don't even think an African god is going to come to my defense. But that's just me. I think people need to tune into the universe, tune into the earth. The planet speaks. everything that's going on in our solar system, it has a voice. People just aren't paying attention to it. They're not listening to it. You know, look up in the sky, look down at the soil, you know, all of these calamities, and then people just wait for the end result. With these calamities, people just wait for the end result, you know. And then the funny thing, racism goes out the window when you have to be rescued by someone of a different race. Cut that foolishness out now. Cut it out now so that you don't have to eat crow later. You understand what I'm saying? You know, this thing is huge and it's massive. It's huge and it's massive to be able to go to certain parts of other countries and think that you're in the United States because they have built it up exactly the same. You understand what I'm saying? When you see people dress exactly like Americans, widespread, not certain groups of cultures, but widespread, you know, there's something going on. Like, and this is a lot deeper than it was 5-10 years ago. This is a lot deeper. And I'm going to end this video now, but, you know, I've said quite a bit in this video. People really need to wake up. These petty squabbles, this meaningless chatter, these gender wars, which are so stupid. People need to collectively come together and brainstorm and mentally plan. Because if you think that you're going to attack a mental or energetic or spiritual war physically, if you think you're going to win it on a physical level when the whole thing was thought out on a mental level, mentally first, you're fooling yourself. So you guys can comment, rate, subscribe, share my videos. I don't care. See you next time. Bye.